Got an email from Rudolph from Latvia. Latvia, man, that's crazy. I am worldwide. Rudolph simply wants to know what to practice. That was the title of his email. It's a bit of a two-parter, but I want to break it down. First part, basically, he just wants to know if I have any books or videos that I would recommend. Something that I've personally learned a lot from to get me going, because he's having some trouble, coming up with stuff to practice. So, yes, I do have something for you. That's real cool. The second part, basically, he's asking, do you keep a practice journal? I've heard in many videos that you should do that. Haven't gotten around to it myself, but was just wondering what your thoughts were on keeping a practice journal. Two good questions. First one, absolutely. I'm a self-taught drummer. I started pretty late. I was 17 when I started. I knew right away that I didn't want to take any lessons, but I had to get it from somewhere. So I ended up spending a lot of money over the years investing in a lot of instructional videos. Like went out, bought some DVDs, VHS tapes actually, when they first started coming out. And I learned a whole lot from just sitting down, just planting myself in front of the TV and just watching instructional videos. I bought a lot of them over the years, but the most valuable one that I ever spent a dime on, it's called The Next Step by Dave Weckl. That is the best DVD or instructional video purchase that I ever made. I can attribute easily 70–80% of what I know now to that video. So you can imagine when I got the opportunity to spend a day with Dave, and I can't believe I just said that out loud, but yes, he came to my town, he was doing an intensive, and I got to spend a day with Dave Weckl, locked up in a room. If you're on my Facebook page, you can see the picture of the two of us, which is great. Anyways, The Next Step by Dave Weckl. If you can find that online, download it, walk into a drum shop, buy it. There are a lot of great ones out there, but for me personally, I learned most of what I know now from watching that video. Some really, really good stuff on there. So that's the first one. Second thing, do I keep a practice journal? I don't necessarily write anything down, but I do record myself on video quite often. Just to check my form, make sure my posture's good, make sure everything looks nice and sexy when I'm on stage, you know what I mean? Just looking for flaws or anything like that. Videotaping yourself now is so easy to do because there's a camera on every single phone on the planet these days. So just record yourself on video while you're playing. Just make sure everything's looking the way it should. There's one instance where I did keep a pretty strict journal. And it's when I was learning the traditional grip in my left hand. I decided that I was going to channel my progress because I was starting from scratch. And I couldn't even manipulate the stick, this way at all when I first started. So I kept the journal for about a year and a half. And every time I practiced and I made a little progress, I'd write it down. So that's just cool because you can look at it and you can go back to where you started, and you can sort of remember, the trouble that you've had when you started and the stuff that you've learned along the way, right? So it's just cool to look back on. But keeping some kind of a journal, I think, is always a good idea. There aren't any negatives at all to keeping a journal. So yeah, I recommend it highly. Keep a journal, write it down, videotape yourself, do whatever you got to do, but just track your progress, as often as you can. And Dave Weckl, The Next Step. Find that video, buy it. There's some really great stuff on there.